Good evening. I would like to start tonight off by reading a poem, A Million Times. A million times we've needed you. A million times we've cried. If love alone could have saved you, you never would have died. In life we loved you dearly. In death we love you still. In our hearts you hold a place no one else will ever fill. It broke our hearts to lose you, but you didn't go alone. Part of us went with you the day God took you home. Welcome and good evening. I'm Tim Short, Director for Optimal Hospice. We are grateful that you have virtually come together with us to honor loved ones and friends who have been a special part of our lives. The holidays are a time to celebrate traditions, family, and spend time with those who mean the most to us. However, the Foundation recognizes that some are no longer physically present, and the void after loss is often deepened during this season. For this reason, Optimal Hospice Foundation, a Bristol hospice partner, is honored to hold this annual Light Up a Life ceremony for our community. A ceremony to celebrate the lives of our loved ones, to find comfort and peace, and support the mission of the Foundation. Optimal Hospice Foundation, a nonprofit organization, is committed to ensure hospice care and other compassionate programs are available for families facing a life-limiting illness. The Foundation provides hospice care funding for the uninsured so they too may receive compassionate hospice care, support and education, services a family may not have access to without the Foundation. In addition to providing hospice care funding, the Foundation supports our bereavement and outreach programs, which serve both our families and community through support groups, general grief counseling, and resources designed to help during our greatest time of need. As part of this outreach, the Foundation organizes and funds Kids Camp. This is a camp specifically designed for children ages 5 to 16 who have experienced the death of a loved one. While at camp, kids find healing and peace through games, activities, and common fellowship. 6 seasons of camp are held annually. Events such as Light Up a Life make the work of the Foundation possible. Thank you for joining us this evening. Let us begin honoring our loved ones through song. Please welcome Optimal Hospice Clinical Manager Madeline Broach, accompanied by Dakota Simpson.
This is dedicated in memory of my Nana, Patty.
Trouble melts like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me, safe fly beyond the rainbow. Why, oh, why can't I?
Thank you, Madeline. Thank you, Dakota. Storytelling has a way of bringing us together. Here to share with us tonight is Ray Gertzen. Ray and his family were introduced to Optimal Hospice in July of 2018, when his father, Johnny, was referred for hospice services. Today, his journey continues with his mother, Adina. While the Gertzen family's story may not be like yours, I'm certain you can appreciate their hospice journey. Ray?
Thank you, Tim. Thank you for the opportunity to share about my family and my experiences with end-of-life care. I come to you this evening with a unique, if not different, experience and knowledge of hospice care. I'm a retired nursing home administrator. I've been an administrator for over 17 years. And I've worked in 3 different major facilities. I enjoyed my job, but I'm also very thankful that I retired before the COVID-19 pandemic came into being. As you know, this has been an exceptionally difficult and stressful time in healthcare, and especially the workers in long-term care settings. I know there are some of you that may not be fond of or even afraid of nursing homes, but I have been blessed to work in facilities that promoted a safe, caring, and nurturing environment. During my tenure, I enjoyed getting to know the residents entrusted in my care. I found in my visits with them that each one had a unique and interesting life story. Some were tragic, some were fascinating, but all of them, in some way, had made an impact on someone else's life. This gave me a unique perspective on end-of-life care and the important role that hospice plays. I was always impressed by how well the hospice organizations, particularly Optimal Hospice, worked with the nursing home staff to provide the most compassionate care possible to the residents and their families during end-of-life care. After death, the hospice organizations also followed up with residents, friends, and family to help in the grieving process. In my former profession, I have interacted with many hospice agencies, but none have impressed me more than the I'll say it right, Optimal Hospice organization. Thank you to Tim and to Cherie and all of the staff at Optimal for the exceptional care you provide, especially during these difficult times. I'd also like to mention one of your bereavement counselors, James Farrell. I'm very proud of him. He's my son-in-law. Now I'd like to mention a little bit about my experiences with my parents and Johnny and Adina Gertzen. As Tim said, my mother, Adina, is currently under Optimal Hospice care in a nursing home. She is 100 years old, extremely hard of hearing, and sees only shadows due to advanced macular degeneration. You might say she doesn't have much of a quality of life. She can't see, she can't hear, but she does have a pretty clear mind and a fairly good memory. She is slowly declining physically and losing weight due to a poor appetite. She currently weighs about 92 pounds, but her physical condition does not define who she is. She is a very strong woman of faith, and she has a very strong desire to leave this world and for her eternal home in heaven. She still prays for her children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren daily. She can recall more lyrics to hymns and Bible verses than I ever could. She is not depressed by her current condition. She just knows that her time on this earth is near an end and that her heavenly home is waiting for her. As a family, we are very thankful for several of Optimal's staff. Chaplain Steve Connolly, when he visits, he plays hymns on his phone, and my mother sings along, almost word for word. We are also thankful for the Optimal nurses, Sharon and Nicole, for their caring attitude and attention to detail. They keep a close eye on Mom and are always ready to listen to our concerns. My father, Johnny Gertson, died on August 1st, 2019, at the age of, that's 18, at the age of 96. He was only under hospice care for about 10 days before he died, but the care was well appreciated and answered a lot of questions for us during that difficult time. My father had moderate dementia and died of, I can't think of it, died of congestive heart failure. Thank you for your patience. And at the end of his life, he had this moderate dementia, and he was unable to speak in his final days. Before the onset of his dementia, my father was a very quiet man, even within our own family. We knew he loved us, but he rather rarely said the words, "I love you," to us. After his mother died, my grandmother, he began to realize the importance of saying, "I love you." And as I recall, in one of his hospital stays shortly before he died, he was in a confused state of mind and was using his hands to to work on an imaginary object. He wasn't talking very much, and I was sitting next to his hospital bed, and I said that I loved him. He stopped what he was doing, turned his head to me, and said in a very deliberate voice, "I love you too." That was the last words he ever spoke to me. It was then that I realized how powerful and important those words can be. Now I make it a point whenever I am around my children, grandchildren, that I tell them in a very meaningful way that I love them. I would encourage you to tell your loved ones that you love them often. It will make a powerful impact on their lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you for sharing. Even though we are not able to be together and light one another's candles, we invite you to light your own candle as we prepare to honor and remember our loved ones by having our staff and volunteers read their names. To respect the privacy of the numerous families we serve, the names being read this evening are at the request of family members and friends. Now we invite Optimal Hospice staff and volunteers to the podium for the reading of the names. Each year, the foundation asks donors to identify loved ones who served our country in the military. To recognize these individuals, their names will be read by Optimal Hospice Care staff members, Raul Sanchez and Melissa Mazie.
Good evening. My name is Melissa Mazie, hospice aide with Optimal Hospice. I'm also a veteran of the United States Army. It is my honor to read these names. In honor of Evelyn Kramer, Janice Meisner. Names read in memory of Alex A. Alavezos, Al Baker, Harley Baker, Richard Lee Bryant Sr., Pete Cardella, Buford N. Center, Joe S. Chavez, Ronald H. Cordell, Bobby D. Daniel, Fred L. Daniels, Jeff L. Daniels, Rudolph Rudy Garibay, Angelo Paul Gonzalez, Angelo Gonzalez, Floyd Hartwig, Ray Hedgecoth, David B. Hoffman, Gerald Lee Jerry Houston, Robert Louis Huerta, Sam Imoto, Shuen Jasso, Stephen Johnson.
Hello, my name is Raul Sanchez. I'm volunteer coordinator of veteran affairs with Optimal Hospice. I'm a retired United States Army veteran, and it's an honor to read the following names. I read the names in memory of Richard Kellenberger, Rodney Kellenberger, Richard Kniper, Clarence Laisley, Ruben Lopez, Lieutenant Commander John H. McMillan IV, Robert Melgard, Charlie Moreno, Jim Mosley, Jim Nanamura, Connie Ohinasian, Roscoe Parker, Kenneth Reese, Robert D. Richner, Robert Dale Richner, Henry Andrew Rossiter, Ronald G. Salo, Bill Selk, John Edward Simpson, Larry White, John Michael Yeager. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Shauna Ramus. I am a bereavement coordinator and grief counselor. I read these names in honor of Judy Colmenero, Adina Gertzen, Angie Gonzalez, Belia Gonzalez, Salome Karam, Marlene Melvold, Doris Nees, Bernardina Perez, Hazel Richner, Frank Rocha Vaz, Alex Ross, Ashanti Ross, Ava Ross, Stella Thompson, Christina Baez. And I read these names in memory of Terry Estrada Aguilar, Elsie R. Alavezos, Carol Alexander, and Patricia Anders.
Hi, I'm Brooke Erdley, medical social worker in the Fresno office, and I read these names in memory of Charlene Bakich, Henry W. Bishop, Diana Lynn Bishop Seeger, Davy Lee Bowen, Raymond Leon Bowen, Marge Burgess, Lorraine Cardella, Theodore Ted Carney, Bruce Carter, Apolinar Chavez Jr., Denise Chesney, Kristen K. Daniels, Mary L. Edmiston, Karen Alice, Oscar English, Polly English, Petra Escoto, Terry Estrada Aguilar, Jennifer Ewing, John Fisher, Thelma Fisher, and John Flores Jr.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Faith Gomez, and I'm an HHA for Optimal Hospice in Visalia. And it is an honor for me to read these names tonight. I read these names in memory of Iva Geifer, Johnny Gertzen, Nicole M. Gray, Dolores Green, Rex Green, Betty Jean Hale, Dean L. Gallegos, Leo J. Gallegos, Ruby Gallegos, Vi Hartwig, Randy Hernandez, Domingo Hernandez Jr., Barbara Hodges, Barbara J. Hoffman, Mary Sue Hogfoss, Emily Hollenbeck, Floyd Thomas Howell, Blasida Hassel, Marlise Kemet, H.T. Kim.
Hi, my name is Marian. I'm a nurse practitioner in Fresno. I read these names in memory of Lorena Marie Laundrie, Bernice Larson, Chester Ledbetter, Mary Ledbetter, Stephanie Lenihan, Arthur C. Madrid, Yvonne Malvini, Virginia Martinez, Maverick Dale Martson, Javier Mayora, Judy Mayora, Margaret McKay, Librado Peña Flores Medina, Chris Medanic, Josie Melgard, Miguel Mendez Calderon, Ricardo Mendez Calderon, Molly Mendoza, Tim Moore.
Hi, I'm Susie. I'm medical records at the Fresno office. I read these names in the memory of Aunt Violet Nealinger, Edna Nolan, Algie Nolan, Jessie Mae Parker, Guadalupe Perez Jr., Michael Peters, Mary Piscano, Linda Reed, Virginia Richardson, Evangeline Roberts, Lucius Roberts, Marion Roberts, Cheryl Robertson, Mary Rocha, Joe Rodriguez Jr., Sheila Ross, Frances Irene Noble, Charles Edgar Noble. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jan Martz, and I'm bereavement coordinator in the Fresno office. And I'll be reading these names in memory of Edna Salo, Aiden Sanchez, Beto Sanchez, Nancy Sanchez Aragon, Rafi Sarkazian, Gerald Sharton, Lorene Selk, Jesse Shoemake, Roy E. Shoemake, Eric Allen Skiff, Edward Sosaya, Erlinda Sosaya, Leah Sosaya, Edward C. Steets, Edward Merle Steets, Carmen Stoner, Robert Stuhan, Virgil Craig Summers, Luna Taplak, Bobby J. Taylor, Henry Lucero Vasquez, Mary Catherine Vinson, Ramona Lucille Wall, and Gerald J. Zaninga. And these lights shine in honor of all of those that we love. Thank you.
It's perfect outside, it's like God let me down, that's the weather. Got the whole crew here, I ain't seen some of them in forever. It's one of those never forget it, better stop and take it in kind of scene. Everything's just right. Except one thing.
Thank you, Gino. Thank you, Stephen. Gino Provencio, Stephen Morales, thank you for honoring our loved ones with your beautiful music. Now, Optimal Hospice Care Volunteer Coordinator Darcy Talon will share a reading.
Good evening. I'm Darcy Talon, as Tim said. I'm going to read a poem, and if you would repeat after me the second line. We remember them. At the rising of the sun and its going down, we remember them. At the blowing of the wind and in the chill of the winter, we remember them. At the beginning of the buds and the rebirth of spring, we remember them. At the blueness of the skies and in the warmth of the summer, we remember them. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them. When we have decisions that are difficult to make, we remember them. When we have achievements that are based on theirs, we remember them. As long as we live, they too will live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them.
Thank you, Darcy. Now please welcome to the podium Cherie Shoemake, Optimal Hospice Foundation Director.
Good evening, everyone. First off, I just want to say thank you to our amazing MC, Mr. Tim Short. He always does such a great job, and we really appreciate you always stepping up and wanting to MC these events for us. So thank you so much, Tim. Appreciate you. If you could just indulge with me for a few minutes. These events just don't happen. They take a lot of planning and a lot of time. And the foundation really relies on the help of our hospice office and teams. And there's just a few folks that I would definitely like to say thank you to. First of all, I think the heart and soul of tonight is always about reading the names, but it's also about hearing a family's journey with hospice. And to come up here and be vulnerable and to want to share about your family's journey is not always an easy thing to do. And so I'd like to say a very special thank you to our speaker tonight, Mr. Ray Gertzen. He did an amazing job of sharing not only about his father, but his mother as well. And so, Mr. Gertzen, thank you so very, very much for being a special part of our ceremony tonight. Next up, music is such an important part of our lives, and it does make our ceremonies very special. So we were very lucky tonight that we had our singers and our musician here with us, and we would like to say a huge thank you to Maddie Broach and Dakota Simpson, who performed our first song, and Stephen Morales and Gina Provencio, who sang our second song. Thank you so much for sharing your beautiful, beautiful gift with us tonight. Also, I'd like to thank our spiritual counselor chaplain from the Fresno office, Mr. Phil Inslee, who played and accompanied the reading of our names tonight. Thank you so much for doing that. I always enjoy listening to you play. Our beautiful venue tonight was donated, our Soma Christian Church. With the pandemic, we didn't know what we were going to do. We didn't know how we were going to hold Light Up Alive. And we knew that it had to happen. And if it hadn't been for places like Soma to step up and say, hey, we can do this, we can stream it, I don't know what we would have done. I don't know how we would have done it. And so a very, very special thank you to the church, and especially James Farrell. He has worked tirelessly for several weeks, putting together this beautiful stage and, putting all the shots together and bringing in a team of Jeremiah and Sarah Beltz and Dakota Nichols to bring this ceremony to you tonight. And James, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything that you did to make this such a beautiful, beautiful evening. So thank you so much. I want to thank all of our participants who came up here and read names tonight or did the group reading. It's such a the way that you take the extra time to be here is just really special. And I know it means a lot to you to be able to read the names of many of our family members. And so thank you so much for taking the time to come and be a part of it tonight. Also, I want to say a huge shout out to the Foundation's Board of Directors. We're very lucky in that we have a very special group of directors who guide the Foundation. And when the pandemic hit, we had a lot of decisions to make as the Foundation of what we were going to do. And unfortunately, many things had to be canceled, including our very special kids camp. And that was really hard for us. But when it came to Light Up a Life, it was, we have to find a way to make this work. We cannot go without having Light Up a Life. And I just really want to thank them for their diligence and their passion and their vision to find a way to make Light Up a Life work. And so thank you. But the Foundation would not be what it is without our Board of Directors. And next is some people that I know all of you that are watching know all about, and that is our care teams and our staff with Optimal. They change our lives. They change our lives forever. It's been 15 years since my aunt was on service, and I can tell you every member of her care team, because that's the impact they had on me, and I know that's the impact that they have on you. And I know that they don't like a lot of praise, and they shy away from it. I've seen them all do it, but you all deserve it. You are angels, and you need to be thanked for everything that you do, from our nurses to our social workers, our home health aides, our chaplains, our community liaisons, our office staff, those folks that are there picking up the phone every single time that we call because we need some help, and they get you to the right person to make sure you get that help. They're such a vital part of what we do. And to our leadership team, we have such an amazing group of leaders here, and we're so grateful to everything that you guys do and how you pull it all together to provide the exceptional care that we provide to patients and families throughout all of the central counties that we serve. And so from someone who's had a loved one, actually 4 loved ones on service, and on behalf of all the people who can't be here with us tonight, I'm going to say it for all of us collectively, thank you. Thank you so very much for everything that you do. And lastly, we just want to thank all of you for joining us tonight. It's a busy time of the year, and we all have a lot to do, and the fact that you would take the time to be here and be a part of our ceremony, I'm sure it's as hard for all of you that are having to watch from home as it is for us to not all be together. One of my favorite things of Light Up a Life is being able to see us all come together. It's to see you come to the event and see a member of your care team, and I get to see your face light up because you probably haven't seen them in months. And you go up and you give each other a big hug. I miss that, and I'm sure all of you are missing that tonight as well. So we truly appreciate you taking the time to be here, and we appreciate your understanding that we didn't have a choice, that this is the best that we could do. And I hope it still touched all of you, because it touches all of us to be able to bring this ceremony to all of you. So again, thank you very much for joining us this evening. Thank you for your support. Thank you for sending in all of the names so that we could honor your loved ones. And lastly, I have an announcement to make tonight. So recently, Optimal Hospice joined in with another company called Bristol Hospice. And a few months back, Optimal Hospice became Bristol Hospice. And one thing I want to be very clear about is that all that changed was the name. That's it. When you call, you still talk to the same amazing people. We still have all the same amazing nurses and chaplains and aides and community liaisons and our same leadership team. Nothing has changed, just the name. Well, as the Optimal Hospice Foundation, it wasn't going to make a lot of sense if we were the Optimal Hospice Foundation partnering with a company called Bristol Hospice. So our board of directors came together, and in their great wisdom and their leadership, we chose to also change our name. So I'm excited to announce tonight that beginning January 1st, the Optimal Hospice Foundation will become the Bristol Hospice Foundation of California. We're very excited about this for many reasons. One, we continue this great partnership that we have with an organization that we've partnered with since 1979. But it's going to expand our role in the state of California. Right now, we partner with 8 locations, mostly in the Valley. And now we're going to be able to partner with almost 20 locations throughout the state of California. So that's more kids that have an opportunity to come to camp. Hopefully in the future, more sessions of camp. It's more patients who are going to get funding for their hospice care who may not have insurance. More patients who are going to get help with things like sheets for a hospital bed, or food, or a fan, or just something that they might need for the care and comfort of their loved one. We get to expand our role. And as the director of the foundation and with my board of directors, I can tell you we're super excited about that growth and the ability to touch more lives in partnership with Bristol Hospice and our amazing care teams. So just wanted to make that announcement tonight and to make sure that everybody knows that moving forward, you're going to be looking for the name Bristol Hospice, whether it's for the foundation or it's for the hospice care in your community. That will be our name moving forward, and we're excited about that. And I, again, please be assured, nothing else is changing. So, again, thank you for joining us. We always like to wrap up the evening with a closing and just some words of wisdom. And it's my honor to have to the podium my very good friend and coworker, my buddy at Kids Camp, who serves as our grief counselor for our kids during our camp. And he's going to join us this evening and just like I said, give us some of those last words of wisdom about dealing with the holidays. Please welcome to the podium, James Farrell.
Well, good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us. And I wish we were able to be here in person and to see you guys. I've done roughly a dozen of these, and I'll tell you, I miss the hugs and the handshakes and the catching up. You know, this has been a tough year for everyone, and for those that are grieving the loss of a loved one, it hits even more so. So I want to encourage you guys, you know, this time of year as we remember our loved ones, as we figure out creative ways to get together and connect. Do just that, connect. Figure out a way to reach out to those loved ones that might not be able to make it to the family dinner. You know, that extra phone call, that FaceTime. Take those extra steps to make those connections. We need each other more now than ever. And if you're on that end and you're the one that's grieving and needs support, please reach out. And I want to encourage each of you to give yourselves a little bit of grace. Grieving's hard, and especially with milestones like Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's, it really highlights the fact that our loved ones are no longer physically with us. So as we have gathered together this evening, even though it's virtual, I want to thank you for allowing us the honor of presenting your loved ones' names, and thank you for allowing us to provide care. And with that, I want to say happy holidays and good night.